The simplest path to $100,000 a month in under 16 months is not doable for most people on Amazon. And that's fine. Truthfully, it's not normal to start a business and start generating millions of dollars in revenue so fast. But it is doable for people that understand this one very important piece of information that I'm going to share with you today. Because you're probably trying to figure out things on step 3 when you still haven't even gone past step 1. So since you're already here and I'm making this video, let's go through step 1 together. Because in this video, I'm going to share with you the action steps, the information to gather, and the decisions to make to get you to eventually doing $100,000 in revenue a month on Amazon, profiting 5 figures plus a month online. And I can guarantee you, if you go into this with this one thing in mind, you're probably going to get there. And if you don't listen to me, hey, you might have a good month, you might have a good year, but inevitably this business is probably not going to sustain for you, and it won't be something that you can rely on. Now, the thing that we're going to walk through is establishing a criteria for the products you're buying for Amazon. Because step 1 is the sourcing and analysis aspect, but most people are always asking me and looking for the best criteria for online arbitrage products. They think it's like a one size fits all, right? And at the end of the day, the only rule with product criteria is there is no rule. There is no rule when it comes to criteria for Amazon business. I'm going to explain to you why that's the case in this video. So hopefully you fully understand what I'm talking about, and now you can go and do some sourcing methods. You can go through my YouTube, look at all my sourcing videos, do that, find items, and be confident in your purchases, because at the end of the day, if you're buying from one product, if you're relying on one product, one brand, and all of your decisions are kind of like not fully there, like you don't have a full understanding of what to actually look for, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be able to profit long term. You're going to make a lot of crucial mistakes early on and lose a lot of money. So this is going to be very important for you, because at the end of the day, there's a couple different things that go into criteria. You have your givens, and then you have your non-givens. And the thing is, I'm going to explain, I'm going to show you both of these here, is most people think that the non-givens are the givens and the givens are the non-givens. So these are flipped over. Like, I'm going to show you these and you're going to be like, okay, like I thought this was a non-given one. In reality, these are the givens and these are the non-givens. You're going to be very surprised by this list here, because most people, when they're trying to get into Amazon, don't fully understand what they're looking for, right? I get asked this question all the time. Like, people ask me, like, what is the minimum ROI you would ever go? Or what is the minimum, let's see, offers you would allow on a listing? And all offers is competition, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. Or like, what's the minimum BSR? And BSR stands for best seller rank. So how fast the product's selling. And people, this is the questions I get all the time when it comes to criteria. And it's not a correct question to ask, because it differs per product, right? There is no rules when it comes to criteria, and this is completely true. So here's what your givens are for Amazon. Here's the things you have to look out for that you need to consider, right? And this is the case. You have to make sure that the product doesn't have a history of IP. So you should not see the offer count on Keepa look something like this or something like this, right? Like, this is an indication of an IP. So you want to make sure that that isn't the case. So right, that's a given. Make sure there's no history of IPs. You want to make sure the brand's on a listing. Generally speaking, you probably just want to avoid listings that have the brand on them. Sure, sometimes it's fine, but you're putting yourself at risk. It's not worth it. That's another given. Okay, multiple sellers getting sales. You want to make sure the buy box is somewhat being rotated, right? The level of extent of rotation does not necessarily mean anything, right? We're not looking for what's the minimum buy box per, like what's the most you would allow a seller to have rotation. I'm not asking myself that question. The only thing I'm making sure of is everyone getting sales? That is a given. Make sure that it's not just one seller in rotation. If there's other people on the listing that are somewhat competitive and have the same type of shipping, same FBA offers, right? You need to be asking yourself that question. That's a given. Is there multiple sellers in the listing, right? If there's only one seller on the listing, it's probably private label. It's probably the brand. It's probably their authorized seller. We don't want to be messing with that. You're putting yourself at major risk there, because there's a really high chance, especially if it's like an authorized seller, that they're the authorized seller and they're probably going to get involved and get you off that listing one way or another. Cease and desist letters, IP complaints, you just don't want to deal with it, right? So that's another given for you. Another given is, obviously, the product has to be profitable at the time of purchase. I would not really be buying anything anticipating for the price to go up. I don't like to make decisions like that. I don't like to buy any products that I know I can't sell right now and make money on. I'm pretty sure most of you probably feel the same way, but it just goes without saying, that's another given. I need to be profitable at the time of purchase, okay? Because obviously price fluctuates, and at the very least, you need to be profitable here. And the very last given here is seasonality, right? Some items are seasonal, so you need to really play that into consideration. If you are selling multiple stuff, planning on FBAing it, you can't be buying it in the summertime because you can't FBA that. Same thing goes with, like candy products that are very Halloweeny, like they're probably not going to sell during the year. So, or they might, but you need to look at other things. Either way, it's a given to always pay attention to seasonality. Here are like the main givens that I could just think of. There might be some more, but this is a very general overview of the givens. Okay. Now here are the non-givens, and you might be confused because like these weren't in the givens. And again, I'm going to address these here because non-given is your minimum ROI. People ask me like, what's the minimum ROI? Well, it depends on the listing. And we're going to look at that here. It completely depends on the listing. Same thing with the max offers, right? This doesn't necessarily, like, if just because there is 200 sellers on a listing doesn't mean that I'll necessarily not sell it. So I can't tell you that the most amount of offers that I wouldn't go on a listing for is 50, because there are some listings that I sell and have sold that have had 200 plus sellers on that I made a killing on. So we can't use that because this wouldn't necessarily fit into that criteria that you might be looking for. Same thing goes with the BSR. There is no max BSR because there's a product in this category that's ranked 120 that could be selling really well, whereas there could be a product ranked 120 in another category that's not selling at all, because each category has different standard for the BSR, right? There's more products in some categories, so that's why you get that difference there. You can't base anything off of just the BSR. It doesn't work like that. Okay, and then buy box rotation, again, kind of touching on this again. I'm not looking at maximum of buy box rotation. There could be listings that have 98% of a seller on the listing, right? They're getting 98% of buy box, but the listing sells 10,000 times a month. I can still go in there and capture probably hundreds of sales if I'm pricing competitively. So I can't pay attention to that because it's just not, it's not the way, it's something it's not given. There's no criteria to it. You pay attention to it when you break in other factors. It's not just a one size fits all with any of these four so far. Okay, and same goes for stock count because it's not accurate. If you're looking at seller stock count, it's not going to be accurate. So don't look at that and be like, oh, this guy has 200 in stock, and then consider it a big deal, because it's probably not a big deal. Okay, because you need to be using all of these in combination. Now, the reason I say you can't necessarily go strictly based off of these is because you have to consider all of them together, right? So we're going to use ROI, offers, and BSR. If we have an item, okay, let's just say we have one item. Let's go item 1, item 2. If item 1 sells 100 times a month, and it had 20 offers on here, I would gladly buy this product. This isn't concerning. However, if this same exact product had 100 offers on it, well, now I'm a little bit concerned because way too many offers, the price is probably going to drop, especially if it's not extremely profitable. However, if we come to item 2, let's say this sells 2,000 times a month, and I have, let's just say 150 sellers on here. Well, in this case, again, I would be more so okay with this because we have plenty of sales to go around. It doesn't matter if there's this many offers on here because I can still go in there and get sales, right? So this is what I mean by there's no one size fits all criteria, because I can't just tell you there has to be 100 offers on this list. Like, I won't go over 50 offers because for 100 sales a month, I wouldn't go over probably 20 offers. Maybe I'd go to 30 offers though if the ROI was like 150%. Right, so now I'm factoring in the profit too. So if there's 30 offers on a listing that sells 100 times a month, I probably wouldn't buy a product if I'm only making 30%, because now I'm at risk. Now, since the offers is relatively high, I'm probably gonna have some type of price drop. I don't have much to give with a 30% ROI. But if I'm at let's just say I'm at a 150%, like I just mentioned here a second ago. Well, if I'm at a 150%, I have plenty of room to give. So I'm not necessarily expecting to make 150% on this product, but I'm completely okay with making 130, then 100, then 80, then 50. I'm making money within that range. I'm still profiting on that item. And again, this is why I don't get attached to any items. And at the end of the day, I base it off of my criteria working and having a wide range of products to invest that money into, spreading that money wide, because no product, especially doing arbitrage, I'm sorry to break it to you, you're not going to be selling products that are dead straight all the time. You're probably not. You're going to have some items that are going to surface through sourcing where that is the case. There's plenty of products like that all over the place. But for the most part, when you're sourcing, finding a bunch of items, you're usually finding products like this, and that's okay because we're dumping money into them. And as long as it's passing the criteria check, we can go in there and profit off these products and make our money, right? We can spend the money and have it churn quick because we're going very wide. So that's a big overview of like why these are non-givens, because this changes drastically depending on the item. So I hope that makes sense, right? And then same goes for buy box rotation, right? If a product sells 100 times a month and one seller has 99% of buy box, I'm a little bit concerned, especially if there is other sellers on the listing that are competitive with them. If this is just one seller priced at $20 and everyone else priced at 40, well, that's a different story. That's because that one seller is the only one that's competitive. If I can come in here and be competitive with him, I'd probably place a test order on that product and see just how much rotation I can get. So I'm not necessarily like brushing this off right off the bat, right? So in this example, I would need to see some relatively even distribution in sales if everyone's competitive, if it's selling 100 times a month, because it's way more risky because it's not moving as fast. Now, if I have the same product, let's just say that sells 10,000 times a month, and I see someone that has 99% rotation, or that's kind of extreme, let's just use 90% rotation, I probably wouldn't be as concerned, right? Because it's selling plenty fast and I can go in there and still capture sales. Now, I would just want to make sure my givens are in check, right? I still want to make sure there's multiple people selling the listing, and I want to make sure obviously it's profitable and it's not seasonal, and that hopefully the brand's also not on it, right? So the givens are always in play, but the non-givens are not, because this is always changing, right? This is always changing on a product depending on the amount of sellers, the BSR, the ROI. And these are also always fluctuating. Every single one of these four, stock count's not really important, but these four are always going to be rotating, and there is never a such given on any listing. So if you can understand how to analyze products like that, and you understand that there is no criteria, you have to combine everything together, you're going to start finding products doing reverse sourcing. You're going to start finding products doing Keepa Product Finder, and you're going to be fully confident in purchasing when you can go in there and realize like how much reward you have in comparison to your risk. You never want to be buying a product that indicates potential price tanking. And what would indicate price tanking? Well, an increase in offers with a slower moving product. Whereas an increase in offers with a faster moving product probably isn't going to indicate price tanking, so it's not as risky. So right, we're taking everything and combining it together. I make a lot of videos like this that go into depth and really touch on specific points in Amazon. And I have a lot more videos that go really in depth on stuff like this, like capturing sales, like how to actually find products, like how to analyze products even more on an even more in-depth basis like this. But this is a very general overview of step one, which is your product analysis and how you're analyzing the products that you're finding. You're not going to find videos like this online. These are simply things that I've learned over the last 3 years of running my Amazon business, and things that I notice after I've already sold through lots of stuff, right? I never even considered this when I was starting. I was also looking for a minimum number. And I know, because I also get people asking me, so I know that's probably what most of you are also looking to. So hopefully this like expanded your mind right now, and you realize that you can't be doing that, and you need to consider other factors. You need to combine everything, because it is more complicated than simply what is the max offers, what is the max amount of profit, what is the max amount of the price sales a month, or unit sales a month, right? It is not that easy. You have to combine everything together, and you have to, see things play out on Keepa charts. For example, even to show you guys like an example here, actually, like we had an item like this it's no longer good, but this was a really, really good, fast moving bolo item, and you can see how the price does not get hit. It's relatively consistent, even though the offer count is climbing so much. And the reason it's staying consistent is because it has a really good BSR. It's selling 10,000 times a month. If we had the same exact product selling 500 times a month, I can guarantee you this product would have went straight to the ground. Not profitable at all. If you look at a product like this, we can see what happens to the price, right? This product sells 400, 500, now 300 times a month. And we can see how the price is getting affected by the offers, right? There's only 30 offers on here, and the price has gone from $42. Now we're down to $35. So we've already dropped about $7 just from these 30 offers on here. You can't give it a number. Like, this is completely different than this chart. And again, it's because we're combining all of them together and to decide, especially the offers and the volume at which products are selling. That's what separates arbitrage from wholesale and these other models, is like you need to kind of analyze this. It's more analysis. Whereas wholesale listings you're going to see are more so stable, and they're pretty much always the same. Arbitrage is different because we have a lot more sellers coming in and out of stock. Like, supply and demand is much more noticeable for these types of listings. So I go very in depth on my videos like this. I have so many on my page. Follow my Instagram page, because again, I make videos just like this on Instagram as well. I'm here to share as much as I know about Amazon on my social medias. And I know a lot of you guys are trying to build an Amazon business, or struggling to build an Amazon business, and you just want someone to walk you through the whole thing. I do have a done with you coaching where I literally just do the whole entire thing with you. We build out your store together and find products together, do the whole thing together. If you want more information on that, there's a link down below. You can book in a call with us. I hope you found a lot of value in this video. This is something that I wish I just knew right away. Like, I wish I knew this right when I started, because I probably would have made a lot, better decisions in my purchases. Yes, I was profiting and making money pretty much right away with my Amazon business, but I definitely, could have had much better margins in my business if I would have known this, and if I would have paid attention to this, and if I wouldn't have just gone based on like a maximum minimum, because I probably passed on a lot of products that I shouldn't have, and I probably bought a lot of products that I shouldn't have. But I hope this video helped. Ciao.